It's now time for The Sit Down with Don Tony.
The Sit Down, where Don Tony talks one-on-one with his followers.
What are you looking at?
About the world of pro wrestling, pop culture, and so much more.
The Sit Down with Don Tony.
And now, your host, Don Tony.
What's up, everybody? It is April 12th. We are 6 days away from Randy Orton saving us. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Boy, we thought Travis Scott was bad. This is 10 times worse. Did you all catch SmackDown on Friday? Pat McAfee, you know, it's funny. The ratings were decent the week prior. No one knew that Pat McAfee was going to be the reveal, first off. Second of all, there's a 3-hour show, and Pat McAfee is 10 minutes of it. So the idea that the wrestling, the ratings were up because of Pat McAfee. Listen, I get it, you know, for hardcore fans, you know, we'll say that. But when you see a lot of the wrestling media saying that, that's ridiculous, because over the years, especially back in the day, WWE would pop some awesome ratings and have garbage shows. It's the following week and a week after that, a week after that. Plus, all you got to do is just check the vibe online. And, you know, people always say the internet wrestling community. How else are we supposed to get the vibe? Am I supposed to, like, scream down the block, hey, what did you all think of Pat McAfee on SmackDown? The only feedback that we all get is from the IWC, from the internet. That's what brings us all together. You know, me, I'm an older guy. I remember what wrestling was like before the internet. And other than your inner circle, you really did not know. I mean, to an extent, wrestling magazines, but wrestling magazines would dictate you or put you in a direction that they thought you should be, and a lot of the companies thought you should be. So the idea that, oh, the internet wrestling community, no, how else are we supposed to get feedback? How are we supposed to know? I mean, you see the overall consensus that what Pat McAfee's doing has been garbage. And listen, I'm not going to make this a long rant. I saw somebody ask me, what do I think about this Pat McAfee deal, just to summarize it. I'll say it like this. I'm not a fan of Pat McAfee. I have expressed that quite a bit over the years. I thought him putting his tail between his legs and backtracking when he crapped on Canadian fans for booing the national anthem, you know, that told me a lot about Pat McAfee. I will always say this, though. Very, very intelligent man. Very, very energetic man. Very charismatic. Knows his sports. All right? Got the niche. Connected. A lot of people tune into him. He is absolutely a great sports commentator. Play-by-play. It doesn't make you an actor. Doesn't make you an entertainer. When you go in that ring and you get on the microphone, we're supposed to have a suspension of disbelief. We're supposed to forget about what wrestling is, even though we're reminded with WWE Unreal. And I appreciate all of you out there that are noticing more and more something I said about 6-7 months ago, that WWE books for Unreal more than you realize. All right, because everything is Netflix. Everything is Saudi Arabia when it's time to go to Saudi Arabia. And everything is ESPN. You take away those three amigos and WWE is, put it this way, Tony Khan probably could have bought WWE. You take away those, this is what WWE is banked on. I mean, why do you think we have 50,000 sponsors now? Soon there's going to be sponsors upon sponsors. You're going to see Ozempic in the middle of the fucking ice cream cones or whatever those cones are that Cody Rhodes shills. They have to just whore out WWE as much as they possibly can. And it's smart business. If you're an investor in WWE, you are loving what's going on right now. But this idea that Pat McAfee stuff, we're just supposed to buy into it and this is WWE trying to book Unreal. And it's going to be interesting how they handle Cody Rhodes because, when we start seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes and make no mistake about it, we talked about this a year ago. Some people are only starting to catch up now, but WWE, and this is common sense, WWE's an entertainment company. WWE eats, sleeps, and shits sports entertainment. As long as there's possibly one camera phone around, you treat whatever you're doing as if it's 100% real. Doesn't matter where you are, unless you're in a bathroom, obviously. But the thing is, everything is so focused on the Unreal aspect of it. But remember, they're an entertainment company. So if something happens during the year, and it's kind of like, this is going to make us look in a bad light. I don't think we should reveal that. I don't think Cody Rhodes should be such a willing participant in it. There's nothing stopping them from recording more footage a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. Hey, Jay, that little meeting we had in the back when the Unreal cameras are around, not for nothing, but you really kind of like fumbled all over your words. Yeet, even though he's dating Jada Parker now. Yeet. Let's record it. Let's redo this. Hey, Cody, we need to fill in the blank with this stuff. We want you to be a little bit more against the idea of Pat McAfee returning. Randy, when we first told you about it, you're like, get the fuck out of here. We can't put that on Unreal. You got to make it seem like, listen, I'll go along, whatever we got to do. We got to record this over. Just comb your hair, make sure you have the same, complexion, blah, 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 and let's redo it. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. So whatever you're watching, understand it's entertainment. When you see WWE Unreal, like I compared it to Kramer on Seinfeld, it's a coffee table book about coffee tables. So it's going to be interesting how they try to sell us on Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes is the by far biggest corporate guy that WWE has. CM Punk could say what he wants about Roman Reigns, but the actual fact is Cody Rhodes is the ultimate team player. Cody Rhodes, and I'm not crapping on Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes is the ultimate going along with the program. So just to say this in summary about this Pat McAfee garbage, I saw SmackDown. Again, I don't know anyone. I haven't seen anyone say, you know what? Now I'm going to buy a ticket to see WrestleMania because I want to see Pat McAfee get his ass kicked. I don't know one person that was influenced to buy WrestleMania tickets because Pat McAfee is now involved with this. He was not interjected into this to spur up WrestleMania sales. He was interjected into this to make Randy Orton a bigger heel, Cody Rhodes a bigger babyface. They wanted the line more clear and concise. When Randy Orton is beating up Cody Rhodes and the fans are chanting, one more time, that's nothing new. I remember the infamous heel turn that Cactus Jack did in WWE way back when Chainsaw Charlie was still around. And he sat in the ring with the flannel and he was pissed the fuck off because the fans wanted to see more of him getting his ass kicked. You see your biggest baby faces, women, men, it doesn't midgets, whatever it is. And you're like, why are these, you see the people on social media, why are these Disturbed fans cheering one more time against that? Because we know what wrestling is. We want to see it one more time, 2 more times, 10 more times because we want to see more violence. You go to a movie theater and you see a slasher film. You want to see as many killings as you possibly can. You see, even if you're rooting for someone to kill the bad guy, during it, no, kill him. One more time. Give me more. Give me more. So they wanted Randy Orton to be a clear-cut heel in this. How do you turn Randy Orton after all these years, especially where he's so fucking likable now? You see the videos with his wife. You see the videos with his kids. You see the videos him in public. You see him mingling with people. You see him last year in a hotel lobby when somebody said, hey, I dropped $5,000 to see WrestleMania. Randy's like, $5,000. Randy Orton probably comes off more like one of everyday folk than maybe even CM Punk. Because CM Punk, it's like Pat McAfee said, at the end of the day, you sign your check and this and that. Pat McAfee's not an entertainer as far as an actor. Every wrestler you see is an actor and an actress. Sorry, we've been making this argument 20 plus years ago about Ring of Honor. Just because you hold the rope doesn't mean that the wrestling is more real than WWE or TNA or whatever it was at the time, XWF, Wrestlicious. It's just a different style of wrestling that people enjoyed. If the outcome is predetermined, you are watching entertainment, period, plain and simple. So you have Pat McAfee interjected with this. He's charismatic, he's smart, he's a sports guy, he's very successful, he is committed, he's a wrestling fan, he's everything but an actor. You want a good example of it? Watch his show trying to sell this whole storyline. I played 2 clips on Wednesday Night Dynamite this week. And Pat McAfee's response to CM Punk calling him Pat McAfee. McAfee. Did you see my thumbnail for this? Together, my friends, together, not that we will make America great again. Together, my friends, we will make Pat McAfee go away again. That's how I look at this. When he went on his show and he was addressing CM Punk, all he could say is, he's complaining about the ticket sales. He says, Pat McAfee, don't worry, Randy Orton is here to say it. And they literally segued into like football conversation. These motherfuckers had nothing. His co-hosts don't even watch WWE. One schmuck brought up, hey, did Adam Cole get upset? Did Tommaso Ciampa get upset? It's like, come on, man. None of these people give a fuck. You want this perception that everybody in sports eats, sleeps, and shits WWE now. And that's just not the case. He goes on his show and they're trying to sell this just because he's got the t-shirt next to his chair, just because he brings it up. He can't act. He's not an actor. He's great at so much else, but he's not an actor. It's just like somebody who is a spectacular actor, but is a fucking moron outside of the movies. You interview them, you think they're mentally deranged. There's people out there that can't do all. You have talented wrestlers. I remember The Weakest Link. You remember that show, The Weakest Link? And we had WWE stars on there. Oof, feel bad. I don't want to mention any names, but you had really talented wrestlers. And then you realize, oh my God, over the years, we realized some of these wrestlers never even went to school. Ask them to spell Ed, and let's see if they can answer that. So Pat McAfee being put into this was their way of saying, we got to get Randy more over as a heel. This has got to be clear-cut babyface versus heel. They don't want Cody Rhodes heel yet. Cody Rhodes makes insane money in Fanatics. Cody Rhodes is their corporate guy. He is the role model. Cody Rhodes, when they think he's getting stale, let's have somebody swerve. We all, for 2 years, wanted to see Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. The problem is it's on the landscape of WrestleMania now. And people are like, gee, I kind of wish they didn't have that, Night of Champions match or whatever match they had at that time. I wish they not. It wouldn't have made a difference. Randy Orton is so liked in 2026. How do you suddenly turn the guy heel? They refuse to have Cody Rhodes get physical with Brandy. So they bring in Pat McAfee. And because he's so charismatic and he has his gigantic show and he's such a sports guy and ESPN loves him and Netflix, obviously, once his contract was up with ESPN, they'd be stupid if they weren't interested in trying to grab him. They've been trying to find their own Pat McAfee for the last year plus, and they haven't. They thought Hinchcliffe was going to be a nice fit in Netflix, and it hasn't really worked out the way they thought. So this was clearly just to strengthen the line of good guy versus bad guy. That's it. And you have Jelly Roll. You know, I saw someone in the chat right earlier. Forgive me for who said it. Actually, I will look back. Who was it? It was Matthew Colon, one of our longtime channel members here on YouTube. Matthew Colon said, Jelly Roll won 3 Grammys, a very popular artist, and that's why he was added to the show. I agree with what he's saying. I don't agree with him being interjected in this spot. But if you're going to put anybody with Cody Rhodes right now that's a celebrity, Jelly Roll's a pretty good example of it. What he did last year, everybody enjoyed it. You know, it kind of pissed me off watching Unreal and seeing the discussion about table spots and everything else. That annoyed the shit out of me. Now it's like, I don't care if you break your neck. And I don't mean that literally, but, you know, I don't need to see that much. You're not getting any new viewers over it. It doesn't create any positive at all. You know, you want to have the emotion of what it's like for Jelly Roll to be in a match and doing the stuff with Randy and this and that. You know, people forget that the Jelly Roll stuff last year involved Randy Orton too. And it's like, he's very well liked. And I'm not a fan of his music. I'm not a fan of country music. And, you know, his past is his past, but it doesn't take away the fact that you can't deny that the guy is extremely successful and very well liked. So if you're going to choose anybody, you know, you got to go with him. So, you know, when I kind of had fun with this thumbnail for today's show, you know, this realistically is probably what's going to happen because they're advertising Cody versus Randy with Pat McAfee in his corner, unless they announce on Friday SmackDown that Jelly Roll will be in his corner. Or do they do like a couple of years ago with The Rock, that The Rock's in the ring and The Undertaker shows up behind him? But instead of The Undertaker, it's obviously it's Pat McAfee in the ring and it's Jelly Roll. You know, that's probably what's going to happen here. But that's why Pat McAfee's into this. I think if they show this Unreal shit later on, they had to figure out a way to get Randy Orton more disliked by the WWE Universe. And the thing is, what could he possibly say now? What could he say? I'm here to save WWE? It wouldn't even make sense at this point. So Pat McAfee saying what he's saying, it's just a whole bunch of word salad. You watch his show, it's word salad. You watch SmackDown, it's word salad. If anything, this has gotten me more turned off about this match. It's got me more turned off about it to the point that I almost intentionally want to have like X-Lax like 2 hours before the main event. This way, by the time Cody Rhodes comes out there and fucking McAfee, I'm just running to the bathroom, shitting my brains out. Sorry, guys, I didn't see the main event. I was busy. I had the runs. I'm almost tempted. I'm almost tempted to eat a bunch of X-Lax at the beginning of the show. I'm just not enjoying this Pat McAfee stuff. And the quicker WrestleMania is over with, the quicker we are to move on. I've heard about the rumors of backlash that it could be Pat McAfee and Randy Orton versus Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes. Probably will happen. Probably will happen. Good. Get it over with. Get it out of your system. Do what you wanted to do with Travis Scott from a fucking year ago and get the fuck out of here. That's it. That's it. Go back to where you came from. You know, just go back. That's it. There's nothing we can do that's going to change things. There's nothing that we can do unless Pat McAfee gets injured, blows out a knee, blows out an ankle, lands on his head, fucking not wishing anything physical. You know, unless something physically happens to him, he's going to be around for the foreseeable future. Just there's a lot of other stuff in WWE you could focus on, but this is drizzling shits, and I think he knows it. I think TKO knows it. I think WWE truly knows it. Problem is, they all like each other. Pat McAfee is like this with some of the people in that company. They're not going to turn against their friends. They're going to just, oh, you got to wait. You know, and with all due respect, some of these podcasts out there that are in bed with WWE, you know, doesn't mean they don't praise AEW too, but the ones that are in bed with WWE will try to make sense of this and try to convince us that, you know, listen, you know, the medicine doesn't taste too good right now, but wait a little while. And when the medicine kicks in and you actually start feeling a little better, then this will all come together and make sense. Blah, 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 blah. I kind of feel like Gunther versus Seth Rollins makes more sense right now. You heard the history show yesterday. You heard that clip. Gunther wanted to face Seth Rollins and on a big stage like WrestleMania. So if you haven't heard it, go check out the history show. Cheap plug. So that's my honest rant on Jelly Roll. You know, say what you want, but it's 6 days away. Let's see what happens. We move on. Now, a couple of things before I get into the questions. And today we're going to finish a little bit earlier because tomorrow we have a huge show live right here on YouTube once again. Immediately after Raw, I will be right here talking about Raw, getting into more WrestleMania 42, anything that transpires. We'll also recap quickly AEW Dynasty. I will watch as much as I possibly can tomorrow. I obviously can't watch it now. I'm doing a show live. But if any of you out there want to give me some match updates, I will definitely react to it because we did do predictions on Wednesday. I will say this. It's about fucking time. It's about time. Camille returned to AEW tonight. You know, just kind of like shitty way to do it. Pre-show you know, like talking Willow Nightingale and fucking Renee, and suddenly Camille just shows up and just knocks out oh my God, I just drew a fucking blank. Willow Nightingale. Do you think it's possible that they bring Mercedes back with Camille? I mean, right now it's just Camille, but remember, Mercedes had to drop all the titles before she made her AEW return. Remember the last time that we saw Mercedes, unless Mercedes comes back more as a babyface, that is not out of the question. They brought back Jericho a little bit differently. Mercedes coming back with a little bit of humble pie, I think that absolutely could happen. Mercedes comes to the rescue of Willow Nightingale. Wait, what's this all about? And then you might actually get Camille and Mercedes having the feud. But, you know, she will be returning. She had to drop all the titles. And as we predicted, she dropped the Malaysia belt. What was it, the APAC title? It's amazing how so many people didn't do any research about that. She was never in Malaysia. When she won the title, she won it at House of Glory. I felt bad for all the Malaysian students that go to this Malaysian school. They go on their website, they go in the fucking building, they're training to become a professional wrestler, and Mercedes Moné is flat plastered in the middle of everywhere. All the thumbnails, the graphics, the website, everything. And meanwhile, I'm saying to myself, she never even interacted with any of these students because she won the fucking title at House of Glory. So was she going to go all the way to Malaysia to drop the title? No. They're not going to spend that kind of scheduling conflict, my ass. Oh, what? I could see if this was fucking Priscilla Kelly in Israel, not having a clue that there's a fucking war going on. What do you think? There's some outbreak of measles in Malaysia? There's some, you know, civil war going on? No, there was no scheduling conflict. I got my nail appointment next week. I can't fly over to Malaysia. No, it was just never in the cards. She won it fucking at House of Glory, and she surrendered the belt. That's what happened. Now she's title free, so she can make her return to AEW. So, all right. So Camille, welcome back, man. Welcome back. It's about fucking time. It's about time, and we might see Wardlow make his return any day now. So it'd be pretty cool. And, how much of American Gladiators will be promoted on the show, I don't know. But the fact that that show's been wrapped up now for a while, now they can focus on wrestling a little bit. So somebody asked earlier, what is the one match for each night that I think could be the biggest major upset for WrestleMania 42? That's a great question. What match, what outcome, not saying it's going to happen, but what outcome at WrestleMania 42 would be the most shocking to you? We'll run down both cards in a few moments. Just think about it. You don't have to say it yet. But we'll run down the card for both of them. We will do predictions later this week. I know I'm a little bit late about this, but tomorrow I am going to send a text message to Joey924. If Joey happens to be watching this live stream and you didn't get my text yet, reach out to me. Let me know if you want to do a little WrestleMania predictions, maybe Wednesday. I'm thinking Wednesday. For everyone that reached out about my mom, a lot of you that follow me on social media and Patreon and YouTube, you know already. My mom's heart surgery, her valve replacement was delayed. It was supposed to happen last Wednesday. It is now happening this Thursday. So this Wednesday afternoon, I will be spending some time with my mom. Won't be staying by her house late because she has to get up super early Thursday for heart surgery. So I'm thinking Wednesday night, that'll get my mind off of this concern so much. We do WrestleMania predictions. So I will reach out to Joey tomorrow and see if he's available Wednesday. And if so, we will do WrestleMania predictions. It'll be pre-recorded and we'll upload it for everyone. Maybe it replaces Wednesday Night Dynamite this week. I don't know. I do want to make one quick announcement for everyone out there, especially everybody that goes back to the days of the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show and the Minority Report. Last week, unfortunately, is the 1-year anniversary we lost Kev. Talked about it on all the shows last week. We did a beautiful Twitter Spaces Tuesday that John Draper, his brother, hosted. A lot of people have been wanting the archive, the library of what we used to do. I've been saying this for well over a year now. Our entire DTKC library, Breakfast with Blassie, blah, 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 Minority Report, and it goes on and on and on. It's all on Patreon, and it's not saying it's a money grab, but our Patreon family is so small, I can afford putting up all the episodes there, and there's no ads. But if you cannot subscribe to Patreon, which is totally understandable, I have now worked out with my hosting company a way to get all of these episodes back online. Over the last 7 days, 1,000 episodes have returned. They're available on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. They haven't been put on YouTube for channel members yet because there's so much music that we used back in the day. If I start uploading it, YouTube is going to laugh and I'm going to get not only demonetized, I'm going to get microwaved. So I got to figure out a way to get these back online and be able to edit the music out without them just automatically striking it over and over again. But the point is, almost 1,000 episodes have been put back online over the last week, and they're being put online in date order. So if you go to your normal feeds, just reverse the playlist order, and you'll see a lot of the shows. You won't see them as soon as you load because that means all my current stuff will get buried. So if you want to see a show from 2006, you got to just go on the playlist and reverse the date order, and you will see them. There's another 1,300 that will be going up over the next month or two, and they do have ads because that's the takeaway. If my hosting company is going to host a lot of this, unless I pay $1,000 a month to host it, they're going to put some ads in there. But if you want them ad-free, just go on Patreon. And not only that, you get all the Patreon shows that we've done. I've done almost, 1,000 over the last 10 years, and you have all of Kev's solo shows and the shows he did with Trez. Those will never be made public because those were very, very intimate shows. And I think like 98% of our Patreon family agree that is meant to be kept private. So, and, Kev, we miss him dearly. We miss him dearly. I can't believe it's already been a year. It's fucking crazy that it's been a year. I'm still thinking about last year of WrestleMania because Kevin and I talked about WrestleMania for several weeks leading up to 41, and he died, about 2 weeks before? So we had already discussed a lot of our predictions. We already had an idea as far as which matches we were going with. And, I do keep notes. I keep notes even for this year too. And I had a lot of notes and a lot of conversations and stuff that we talked about, DMs and, conversations online. And, I had almost all of the matches and what Kev predicted. And it was kind of surreal to do predictions and have a lot of Kev's predictions already, and he's just not there to say them. Crazy. So, listen, if Joey could come on, it would be great. It'd be fun to have a conversation about WrestleMania. I could do a live stream and just converse with all of you, but I know a lot of you out there do want to see the back and forth. Unfortunately, no one out there loves Don Tony. No one out there says, hey, Don Tony, you want to do a WrestleMania predictions thing? No. Everybody's got their own clicks, and it's totally understandable. So I got to create my own. Unless I do WrestleMania predictions with the chicken. Prediction with the chicken. Should we do that? Hey, who do you think's going to win between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar? I don't know. I'm a cock. My dog is barking like crazy. He heard the duck. All right, so Mission Joey numbers is not a possibility. We've talked about that 1,000 times. Unfortunately, that will not be happening. So before we get into your questions, and we'll quickly run down WrestleMania, and we'll have that discussion what we think would be the most shocking outcome for each night. Any Dynasty updates so far? Do we have some match updates? We have to. We had a pre-show. So, let's see. We got some match updates. Someone in the chat could throw them out quickly, and I'll give some quick reaction. Either, yeah, I was right, or yeah, I was wrong. The Young Bucks won. Yeah, that was one. Takeshita and Okada had to have had dissension. They're going to be fighting each other for a title in the very near future. So they had to have a little bit of a falling out. The Don Callis family. Don Callis is ripping his hair out of his head, and he doesn't even have any. So I think I haven't seen the match yet, but I will bet the bank that Okada and Takeshita were not on the same. They weren't in sync with each other. Jericho and Ricochet is still going. I think Jericho needs to win this one. I know there's a lot of people like, oh, he's right back and he's back to winning and stuff. No. Ricochet was the perfect opponent for Jericho. Perfect. Because you wanted someone that was a chicken shit, that people wanted to see get their ass kicked, and especially where Dynasty is taking place. Jericho needs to get the victory there. I'll say this too, especially with the controversy with Ricochet lately. I think Ricochet being handed a loss right now is the right way to go. Now watch, we end up seeing at the match. Oh, you see, EG says that Takeshita turned on Okada. Okay. Didn't we say on Wednesday that I could see maybe Okada becoming a babyface? We haven't really seen that yet in AEW. We did talk about that on Wednesday Night Dynamite. I said I could see Okada turning babyface. So I don't know if that'll be full-fledged now, but it'd be interesting to see Okada full-blown as a babyface in AEW. So we'll see. We shall see. Did Camille win her match? Who did she face? All I heard was that she was working the pre-show. I was like, I don't think she's going to fight Willow. I mean, that would kind of be abrupt, especially, if there's no time. Why would you do that so quickly? I mean, my God, you think they would have hyped up for a week that Camille was going to be back. Yeah, she defeated someone with no name. No name mentioned. Big Ann? Is that a name? Star Writer. Thank you. She beat Big Ann. Big A. Big Ann. Big Ann. It began with Big Ann. Began with Big Ann. Now, Rojo Bear saying Okada hit Takeshita first. Well, it could have been inadvertent. Could have been inadvertent. Or maybe Okada was just fed up with Takeshita's shit. Maybe that's what it was. You know, maybe it's an inadvertent shot, you know, and then Takeshita like, that's okay. And then Takeshita just laid loose on Okada. So, all right. So that's pretty much what we got so far as Dynasty. We get more updates. I'll be more than happy to share them. Oh, by the way, little suggestion for anyone out there that works, you know, behind the scenes in AEW, especially on the website. Can you do me a favor, please? Could you make the graphics available for everyone, the thumbnails for the matches? It is so goddamn annoying to go on AEW's website and go to, and I see the match thumbnails and I right click to save so I could put it on the screen. You see like WrestleMania. I got this straight from WWE's website. You literally just click a button, right click and save, and I got the pictures. You go on AEW's website, I right click, and something's wrong with my mouse. Nothing happens. I right click again, my mouse looks at me and like, no speaker English. And I realized they got right clicking disabled. Why would you disable downloading thumbnails? I mean, I don't know if Will or any of them work the website. I know he's a lot with the media. You know, fix that shit. Let people download it. Let people spread it like a virus. Let people make it easier for people to repost your graphics. I don't like going on X, and I don't like doing a Google image search because now you got all these fucking file names, file formats, JFIV, J this and that. You can't even fucking upload them in programs. They're not even valid files because everybody wants to be a cheapskate and they want their file to be like 3 kilobytes in size. So they put a different format that compresses it. So ridiculous, and you can't even post it. It's very fucking annoying. So please, you know, Tony Khan's a billionaire. You know, you could have thumbnails being shared. Please. I know people won't normally say that, but, you know, some people are crediting me for Netflix bringing back the rewind button. I don't think Netflix listens to what we do. I don't think they listen to what we do. All right. By the way, all this buzz about Liv Morgan concussion protocol, fungul. You know, somebody sees 2 people butt their heads, concussion protocol. No, they both had hematomas. In fact, I guarantee you, I know this is going to sound twisted, but I guarantee you when Liv Morgan had that fucking hematoma swell up, I guarantee they were like, oh, this is going to be awesome for media. She literally is doing all the photos, the middle finger. You know, Raquel is laughing at her. Dominic is like, what do you want me to say? You know, that just intensifies the feud even more. No, they should not butt heads to intensify the feud. But still, once that hematoma, that looks good. That's a good visual. Make sure we do a whole bunch of poses. Let's do videos. Let's show everyone. Let's not show Roxanne as much. We want all the hematoma focus on Liv Morgan and Liv Morgan only. And Stephanie Vicaire putting that awesome fucking meme of the doll with the forehead smashed in. That is vintage. That is vintage. Not vintage Vicaire, but vintage as far as photos go. She's fine. Liv Morgan is good for WrestleMania. Believe it or not, it seems like maybe this is sad news for some of you out there, but it seems like that Nikki Bella is good to go. I'm saying it jokingly. Even if Nikki Bella was not good to go and they had to go with the Kabuki Warriors, they're doing the women's tag match on night 1. So there's no reason why Asuka couldn't do double duty and wrestle 2 nights. It was only a couple of WrestleManias ago that we had some women work 2 matches at WrestleMania. And I think Asuka might have even been one of them, if you think about it. So let's quickly run down the lineups. So right now we have, and we're not doing full-blown predictions. let's just run down the card for now. And what we can do is say which match for each night would be the most shocking outcome. Like what outcome would be like, like remember that goof? Remember when Undertaker lost? Remember the goof, the guy with the eyes? I can't say his ethnicity because be like, it's racist. Why do you have to describe it like that? A lot of people had this startled look on their face. I mean, Undertaker losing his streak is a big deal. But I want to know what match outcome, if that guy happens to be sitting front row and he's got that kind of cash that he's dropping with WrestleMania, that he has those eyes, white eyes once again, like that. What is there any match outcome? Right now we have for the first hour, we almost nailed the match order for both nights. If I didn't switch Vicaire and Liv from night 1 to night 2, we would almost had it. But or night 2 to night 1, I think it was. We have the Usos and LA Knight taking on Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. That will be part of the first hour of ESPN. Remember, the first hour for each night of WrestleMania will be on an ESPN channel. I think it's ESPN 2 night 1, ESPN night 2. So this match will air as part of the first hour for free. So that is one match. Another match that is going to be featured for night 1 on, I guess you would call it a pre-show. You don't have to pay to watch this hour. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. Funny thing is, if you look at it, it's kind of both nights, the first hour, are kind of similar with how they're, treating this. So this match will be part of the first hour that'll be available on the regular ESPN. Then we got, what do we have next? And I think this is also the match order. This might be the exact match order. I mean, on Wednesday, we predicted what matches we thought would be on each night. This is what I think might be the match order. And it's very interesting because WrestleMania Night 1, 3 of the final 5 matches, 3 of the final 5 matches are women. It's not about men or women, but it's very interesting when you think about it because you have the first 2 matches for ESPN's first hour. That's going to leave only 5 matches remaining, and 3 of those 5 feature women. So you're going to have at least 2 women's matches back to back for night 1. So we have AJ Lee taking on Becky Lynch. That is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have the Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Lash Legend and Nia Jax defending the titles against the Bellas, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, as well as Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Some people think has a midlife crisis at 40. I think she looks fine. It was interesting to see the response last Monday of that 4 women, the 4 horsewomen, the 4 club women that we showed. It was interesting. Oh shit, my YouTube fucking page just crashed. Oh, that's lovely. That's just lovely. It didn't crash the stream. No, we didn't have a Vince Russo coach moment where an entire 2 sentences, especially omitting religion, just seemed to be a glitch. Yeah, it just seemed to be a glitch. I'll give you my thoughts on that in a minute. But so we have the women's tag title next. Then we got, is it Gunther and Seth Rollins? Yes. Gunther and Seth Rollins will be battling it out. Check out yesterday's history show right at the beginning and listen what Gunther told Ariel Helwani a year ago. He wanted to face Seth Rollins, but he wanted it to be on a big platform. So this is something that, believe it or not, may have been discussed for a lot longer than people realize. Maybe it wasn't their first choice for WrestleMania 42 to have these 2 face each other, but when Gunther was asked who he wanted to face, he not just CM Punk, Seth Rollins was right at the top of that list. So, all right, that leaves us, I think, 2 final matches. Yes, it does. It leaves us, And I think this is the next to last match of the night. Stephanie Vicaire defending the Women's World Championship against Liv Morgan. And then obviously the finale for WrestleMania Night 1, you have Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Randy Orton with Rain Man in his corner. The Rain Man, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee. By the way, somebody wrote early, DT, don't bring politics into the show. Only reason why I put the MAGA hat in the thumbnail was because CM Punk called Pat McAfee on Monday. That's all. We're not talking Trump. We're not talking about politics. We're just, we're using the phrase, instead of make America great again, make Pat McAfee go away again. That's how I look at it. I was trying to figure out a way to say that so it would spell MAGA, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to. Unless it didn't work. So that's your card for night 1. Of all the matches for night 1, what is the one outcome that you truly would be like the guy, the guy from Caddyshack? Remember the guy in the boat when he saw the big yacht and he had the look on his eye? Actually, like a lot of podcasters will do. Like a lot of podcasters that want to, hopefully WWE takes the screenshot of them and puts it on their recap. All the ones that go like this. Like, what's the one match that there's going to be 1,000 podcasters going like this? It's like Stevie Richards when he saw Vince McMahon's accident. I say this jokingly, I'll never forget. That's like the thumbnail of the year so far. Stevie Richards reacts to Vince McMahon's accident. And, they have the usual poses that they use, like Dutch Mantel. They never updated Dutch Mantel's poses next to the topics. Stevie Richards, they use the one where he's like this. You do that if somebody gets beheaded. You do that if Vince McMahon's leg went across southbound I-95 and he's northbound still. You don't do that because he hit a divider with a fucking $200,000 car where the worst thing that happened was Vince's shirt got a little wrinkled. He's like, what's the one match that makes you go, what's the one? Anybody have one? No, this is night 1. We're just doing night 1, the matches that I just said. You're bringing up night 2 matches. I tell you, the one match outcome, I honestly think Stephanie Vicaire retaining would be more shocking than Randy Orton winning the title. This is night 1. We're only talking night 1. We just did the matches. Everybody's bringing up night 2. We'll get to night 2 in a minute. Which one would be more shocking? Randy Orton winning the title or Stephanie Vicaire retaining? I think Stephanie Vicaire retaining would be more shocking for me. Liv can go. So it's not like Stephanie was supposed to lose the title, but they did it audible and they had to retain because Liv is not 100%. No. Ricochet beat Chris Jericho. So much for me being an AEW analyst. There goes the credibility, Don Tony. Damn you, Chris Jericho. Ricochet won. Wow. I almost wrote on his social media that I can't wait for this match. It's can't miss. And I was going to put in capital letters M and S in the word miss. I kid you not. When they put that match on the AEW page, I was going to put can't miss. And I was going to put M and S in capital letters. But I was like, nah. I remember how old I am. People would be like, how old are you? And you're doing that. So Ricochet beat Jericho. Wow. Ricochet beat Jericho. All right. So somebody, let me in. Says Dom turns on Liv and Stephanie turns heel because she's boring as a baby face. The problem with Stephanie Vicaire, and listen, obviously I'm a fan. I'm not a creepy fan, even though I have multiple pictures, but, I have various pictures. I've just been a little lazy removing the ones from behind me. But I'm a big fan of hers. But despite me being a big fan, I brought this up the other day. Stephanie Vicaire, it's interesting. When she talks Spanish, she sounds like she's reading a cue card. When she talks English, that's where there's a little bit of passion. Just look at her promo from Monday. When she was talking in Spanish, it was like she was reading an advertisement. But when she started talking English, you felt a little bit of passion come out of her voice. She's not fluent completely yet in English. Like, she has to think about what she's going to say. And a lot of you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Stephanie, what's next for Stephanie Vicaire? I will defend against anybody. Like, you have to think while you're saying the words. Unfortunately, that's what's going on with Jerry Lawler now. Because of Jerry with his strokes. If you listen to him, it's heartbreaking to see. You watch Jerry Lawler do an interview now, and you could tell he has to think about what he's saying instead of just coming to mind. I think Stephanie Vicaire is still in that babyface mode where she's still learning English. Fans are rooting for her. She's still in that, thank you for your support and you're helping me. And I think she's still getting to that point. Once she gets the language down perfectly and she gets a little bit more comfortable, that's when I could see her turn heel. Right now, I don't think there's any reason to. Especially when she does some of her moves. A lot of the fans love to go along with it. She's very well liked. So I think it's a little too early for Stephanie to turn heel. If she turns heel on Saturday, that will be probably the most shocking thing for me. So, and listen, it's not her fault the way things are booked. But Liv becomes the champion. I still think Raquel could ultimately turn on Liv. And they could have a feud. Roxanne could turn on Liv. They could have a feud. There's a few ways they could go. Stephanie Vicaire, you could kind of shift in a different direction for now. Maybe she aligns with someone else and maybe she gets in the tag team scene. There's a few ways to go. So now we get to night two. Night two. These are the matches, and this is the order I believe it's going to go down. And I honestly think, without a shadow of a doubt, ESPN will put on Brock versus Oba as the first match because you want to get regular sports people to immediately get attracted. And that's why I think the 6-man tag will be the first match on ESPN2 because Logan Paul. Logan Paul crossover with his boxing and everything. So and his brother Jake Paul. So that's why I think that match will open. I think if you open up with the women's, with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, it'll be a clusterfuck. It'll be an insane fight. It'll be entertaining. It might even be one of our favorite matches of the first night. But for regular sports fans that may not watch wrestling all that much, other than a clusterfuck, people, I don't know if they'll be really in tune for that. That match leading into the pay-per-view, subscribe to ESPN now and you can see the rest of it. I think that's probably the way to go. But for night two, I think the first person you need to see is Brock Lesnar. For that first hour, you immediately draw everyone in. And this is going to be chaos. I wish this was like no disqualification. I wish this had a little bit of an extra stipulation. They don't have to get disqualified. They don't have to, have a falls count anywhere or anything like that. But people want to see these two beat the shit out of each other. And, we're not doing official predictions yet. But, one of the thoughts that's crossed my head is this match ends in a no contest. That, all right, we don't want Oba to lose yet. But we don't want Brock to lose to Oba. So these two just start brawling outside the ring, and the referee has no choice but to throw the match out. The fans will boo. Then we'll get like a couple of table shots, this and that. I'm not officially going with that yet, but that's crossed my mind. So this match is going to open. Then the other match that will be part of the first hour for free, that will be, talk to me, the 6-man ladder match for Penta's Intercontinental Championship. JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Rey Mysterio, Rusev, and obviously the champion Penta. So that match will be the second match for the first free hour. it is still possible that we get Io Sky versus Asuka. If we get Io Sky versus Asuka, I think that could be the first match for the second hour that goes on pay-per-view. But right now, that has not been made official as of this recording, so we're not going to officially put that in as of right now. But for the rest of the card, we have Sami Zayn defending the United States Championship against Trick Williams. You know, my thoughts remain. It hasn't changed. You know, no one will ever, you won't see this on WWE Unreal. You won't see like the extended cut. Mello, you've been a great United States champion, but this is WrestleMania, and we need a spot for Sami Zayn. So thank you for keeping the belt warm, but we're gonna give it to Sami now. Go plan your wedding. Go hang out with Kalani. We'll have you do a pre-show. We'll do a meet and greet and shit like that. The fans will get more behind you because they think you got burned for WrestleMania, even though you did get burned, Mello, with all due respect. That's my honest feeling. My honest feeling was, unless there was an injury or he was getting married, which we thought he had been already, or there was a wellness violation or a death or something abrupt, I think it's pretty fucked up for him to hold that United States Championship. And right before WrestleMania, thank you, Mello. Yeah, but we're gonna give it to Sami. We're gonna give it to Sami. So, and I know there's some thought like, hey, turn it into a three-way. I think that would be beautiful. Mello, Trick, with their history. Mello, Trick, and Sami. All right, continue with the matches. Remember, there's only 6 advertised so far. Match 4 will be the Demon, Finn Balor, taking on Dominic Mysterio. That will leave us 2 matches. Jade Cargill defending the Women's WWE Championship against Rhea Ripley. And then obviously CM Punk defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns. So, for night 2, what match gives you the white of the eyes, reaction, just like what match, what outcome? You're not predicting an outcome. You could say Obafemi loses. We're not predicting that he loses, but what outcome would have you shocked? Because you would think WWE is going to give us at least one shocking moment. Maybe it's a heel turn. But if it's a match outcome, what would be the most shocking for you for for night 2? What would be the most shocking? Mr. says CM Punk winning clean. That would shock him. I'm still on the fence because I don't know what Roman Reigns' schedule will be after WrestleMania. Part of me is starting to think Roman's got to stick around for a little while, because if he leaves again, it pretty much proves what CM Punk's been saying. Roman has earned the part-time schedule. Even though we don't want it, we understand it. So CM Punk could say that, but what a lot of you may not realize, and I was going to include it on the history show, but to me, it really would just annoy people and get them mad than anything else. You go back a year ago and you see the lead-in for WrestleMania 41. Remember, it was Punk versus Reigns versus Rollins. And you watch the interaction with Punk and Reigns last year. It is quite similar. Other than the Paul Heyman part of it, a lot of the shit talking was quite similar, especially when they were calling Roman Reigns a part-time player. Because remember that infamous video, like a week before WrestleMania, Roman Reigns was on the treadmill or the fucking whatever that machine is, and he's like, I'm not a part-time player. I'm like, yes, you are. At this stage in the game, he's literally on that fucking machine, and he's like, keep saying I'm a part-time player. Yes, you are a part-time player. And he literally showed it again. They're literally doing a lot of rinse and repeat. In fact, there was one promo from last year. I was going to play a clip on one of the recent episodes and not mention it was last year, just to see how many people would think it happened this year. That's how similar it was. So, let's see what other outcomes. Rhea Ripley defeating Jade Cargill would shock Roderick Howard. He doesn't expect Jade to lose before Bianca comes back. That's a good one. That is absolutely a good one. Jim Kahn says CM Punk cheating to win, standing over Roman's body. I think once you bring up TKO and McAfee and lower ticket prices, they're trying to blur the line. And you know what? I think Brian Last, believe it or not, I have to give him credit for this one. I think Brian Last summarized why CM Punk is hitting home runs right now, where a lot of other people are having difficulty, because CM Punk has the skill of blurring the line. Better than Cody Rhodes, better than probably anyone else, blurring that line. Because you think listen, make no mistake about it, CM Punk is a corporate guy now. Not on the extent of a Cody Rhodes, but just like Undertaker, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, like I said last week, people got to stop thinking a year from now, Triple H will be out of a job. They're going against this and they're going against his way. Stop it. Stop thinking that Undertaker is an outside guy still. Stop thinking that Stephanie or Cody or anybody else, they're all on the same page. They all understand in this age that we live in now, especially the size of the company, this is no longer just your standard wrestling company. And for someone like CM Punk, what are other options? MLW? With all due respect? TNA? Really? Oh, I can't wait to see that. AJ Francis versus CM Punk. Even though I think that would be a good match, my point is, at this stage of the game, CM Punk wants that, elite, larger-than-life status, legacy. His entire life was wrestling. There was a lot of personal issues with WWE, make no mistake about it. But with Vince out of there now, this is like them working on Wall Street. They're working for a corporation. They're working under TKO Group Holdings, doing business as WWE. So, CM Punk is a corporate guy just like everyone else, but he can blur the line better than anybody. And the thing is, having CM Punk blur the line as good as he did right now, just for that shocking, oh my God, I can't believe he turned heel. Like, really, what does that do? Like, if he aligned with Pat McAfee, it's like, no, man, I'd just turn the TV off, like, nah, I'm done. That's it for me. I don't think Punk turning heel would be smart right now, because if anything, let me put it this way. You didn't need celebrities in Reigns versus Punk because they're so good at selling you on what they're offering. Randy Orton, with all due respect, and I'm a big Randy Orton fan, but I will say this, and I think you all agree with this. Randy Orton doesn't work enough on television to build to a hardcore heel run. If this was 2 months left in WrestleMania still, you have plenty of time to get Randy on nuclear level. They needed to get a crash. This is like somebody that had to go in and get liposuction. This is someone who needed to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Gee, I don't have time to go on Ozempic. Let me go in the hospital and just get it cut out of my stomach. That's what they did with Randy Orton. They didn't have the luxury of taking the time and letting Randy build and build and build. It's like, no. We got Elimination Chamber out of the way. No. The fans are still chanting for Randy Orton. No. We want Cody Rhodes full-blown babyface. No. There's a lot of people that are kind of booing Cody Rhodes. No. We got to have Pat McAfee. Let's just, listen, you're going to see I just hope they don't do this, but you're going to see on Unreal. You're going to see it's going to feel like Travis Scott. I'll make a prediction it's going to feel like Travis Scott. We started thinking, if we got into Pat McAfee, and then they talked to Nick Khan, and Ari Emanuel posed this, blah, blah, blah. You're going to see all these names, and it just came together. I think that's what's going to happen. It's just like, okay, we got to get Randy a little bit more on the dark side. How do we do that? And the idea was Pat McAfee. So stop with this Triple H is on the outside looking in. This is not Triple H's idea. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're all working for the same company. They're all working for the same company. A lot of people think that I'm more spot on than you realize about Gunther and Seth Rollins. Having an interview with Ariel Helwani a year ago saying, I want to work Seth. I want to work Seth. It's not enough. But sometime over the next, maybe it happened already, sometime over the last 2 weeks, I guarantee you, it might have even happened in the middle of the night. Somebody had, while he was sleeping, a dream, and they dreamt about the perfect scenario to explain why Gunther turned on and attacked Seth. And they probably literally woke up in the middle of the night and either wrote it down on a piece of paper or they fucking text Michael Hayes or someone else, listen, sorry for calling you at 4 a.m. I figured it out. Let's do this. Or somebody was taking a shit, and while they were on the bowl, like, oh my God, fucking light bulb went overhead. This is how we do it. And I think that's how they're going to figure it out. I think they're like, let's book the match now and we'll worry about it later. Like Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Just no one had the light bulb go off a couple of years ago with Brock. Why did Brock turn on Cody right after WrestleMania? It'll be explained in 2 or 3 months. How come it never happened? No. Yeah. By the time we were extending a handshake. So, all right. So that's pretty much the shocking. As far as me, what would be my most shocking match for night 2? I think, I don't know if it would be Oba defeating Brock. I don't know if that would be as much of a shocker. It wouldn't have the whites of my eyes like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this card again. Let's run this card again. Oba and Brock. We have, you know what? Okay, maybe this match. You think I would want Javon Evans to win this title. I think if Penta loses, that would be a little bit of a shock, but I wouldn't like have the whites in my eyes. I'd be like, all right, cool. Like if Rusev won the championship, with all due respect, that would kind of give me like Zack Ryder vibes from many years ago. That he blocked me that night when he won the championship. He climbed the ladder and grabbed the title, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I've been blocked from him ever since. I think I like Rusev. Love the Redeemer stuff. But I think if Rusev climbed the ladder and pulled down the title, I'd be like, really? Like, oh, okay. Like, I don't even know if my white of my eyes would be, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, all right, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if any match would shock me. Maybe Rhea Ripley beating, you know what? I'm going to go with Jade Cargill beating Rhea Ripley. Or you know what? Dominic beating the Demon. I'll go with Dominic beating the Demon. You know why? Because the last time we saw the Demon, he fell off a fucking rope in a match with Roman Reigns. If the Demon loses to Dominic, literally, Finn Balor should show up on Raw the next day and do like what Goldust did many years ago. Just have a giant garbage bin in the middle of the ring, throw the Demon stuff in the pail and just light it on fire. That's it. And then crawl your way to the back. That I think if Dom beats Finn, especially with the Demon outfit, that's it. We don't ever see the Demon again. I think Demonito has more credibility than the Demon. So I'm going to go with Finn Balor losing to Dom would be the biggest shock for me. Dominic beats the Demon. I'm like, that's it. The Demon is dead. That's it. The Demon is dead. I think that would be my biggest shock. All right. We'll get into your questions in a moment. There was something I did want to say. I can't remember what I wanted to say. There was something very pertinent. I can't think. Oh, let's get into a couple of super shout-outs. Let's get into a couple of super shout-outs, and then we'll get into questions. How long we've gone so far? We've gone an hour and 15 minutes. I said we would go 2 hours, so we still have about 45 minutes. We have time. All right. Ronnie C. Thank you, Ronnie, for the support. I hope you saw the video of Logan Paul. Wait, this is old. That's very, sorry. Ronnie, sorry about that. That's from March. Tommy D, stupid question for me. On SmackDown, Pat McAfee said he got Ram trucks to give people a 25% discount code for WrestleMania tickets. They're not actually giving the difference back to TKO, right? If you're talking about Ram, no, it was just Ram is a sponsor for WrestleMania, and they're using a promo code for, I guess, Ram trucks. I don't know if Ram is a supporter of Trump, but obviously, I guess maybe McAfee has a Ram vehicle, and they wanted to use someone that is kind of like something that McAfee likes. So I think that's why they did it. But no, I mean, Ram Trucks is not cutting a check for TKO. And listen, I don't have this completely prepared yet, guys. I'm a little on the fence if I'm going to do it for Wednesday. But I just want to show you one. See this? WWE 2K with a tweet. Viva Las Vegas. Use code 2K offer to receive a 25% discount on select full-price standard tickets for WrestleMania. Oh, that was a year ago. Sorry. No, what I was doing was I was putting together a montage of the last 10 years where WWE put out discount codes for WrestleMania tickets. A lot of people think that this is suddenly this year. It's like Amazon, baby. It's like Amazon. How many of you out there go on Amazon and you'll see, sale price, 40% off. Oh, I got to buy it. And then you realize, wait a minute, they jacked the price up and then they put it on sale. Come on. We get that on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That is an old school thing. I want to sell a TV for $1,000. So what I'll do is I'll quietly raise the price to $1,200, and then I put it on sale for $1,000, and everybody's like, oh my God, 20% off. But meanwhile, that's the regular price. WWE putting tickets on sale for 25%, for 30%, whatever it is. All right, understand they jacked up the price 80% in some cases, over 100%. So giving a little discount, I mean, just do the math. Remember my analogy on Monday last week? Can I do it one more time? Just the analogy. It pisses people off. But I just use this. Look, I got a hotel key from WrestleMania a couple of years ago. All right. Let's say I got 2 hotel keys. I get 10,000 of each. All right. I don't mean to rag on Tony Khan because I've grown on him a little bit lately, but since Tony Khan's methodology of, why he does what he does with AEW and ticket price, this and that, let's use Tony Khan as an example. Okay. Tony Khan's got 10,000 of these and I have 10,000 of these. Yeah, let's use this because Tony Khan loves Steve Austin. So we'll go this. These are Tony Khan. He's got 10,000. I have 10,000. Tony Khan sells 10,000 of these for $10. I only sell 8,000 of these for $14. Now, what would be the bigger news story? Selling out all 10,000 for $10 a piece, or me only selling 80%? But yet I made 112,000 compared to 100,000. So when you hear WrestleMania, 8,000 tickets less than last year, it sounds emotional. Oh my God, it's down 20%. Yeah, and they made 40% more money. Imagine going to a stockholder. With all due respect to the WrestleNomics and everything, I don't mean anything personal, but just imagine this. You're doing an economics website and you are focused and obsessed about ticket prices and ticket sales and being down 20% and all this stuff. Imagine having that economic mindset. And then you're an investor for a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. If an investor wanted to invest in this company, all right, they want to invest in this company, let's call it DDT Entertainment or WrestleNomics Incorporated, And the investor says, okay, how did they do with their sales? Oh, I sold all 10,000 of mine. I sold them. I made $100,000. Well, I only sold 8,000. I didn't sell 20% of them. But I sold them for $14 a piece. So I got 112,000. He only got 100,000. Who do you think they're going to invest with? It's not as cut and dry. That's my point. They work hard. They bring out, and I'm not trying to single them out. I'm only mentioning them because they do the hardest work out of everybody. Stop with this passionate, straight down the middle, because investors will look at that and they'll laugh at you. They want to see record fucking profits. When you sell a collectible, oh my God, limited to, I don't know, let's find a good one. Do I have a good one here? I don't know if I have a good one in front of me. All right, yeah, okay, AJ Lee's rookie card, all right? Oh my God, we have a rookie card. We sell it autographed on sale. We sell them $100 a piece, and they sell out in 10 minutes. Oh, fuck. Then all of a sudden, all right, let's come out with Series 2 and we'll sell them for $300 a piece. Holy shit, we sold them all out again. And then they turn around and say, let's put them on sale for $600 each. Boss, we're having a hard time selling them all. We're down 20% in sales. But we doubled our fucking money. What do you think, which way they're going to go? I don't like the ticket prices. I don't like the bullshit that's going on. You would not catch me alive to spend that kind of money. But for investors, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's like Amazon putting something on sale for 30%, and you don't realize or you don't think about the fact that they jacked up the price before they put it on sale. In the end, they're still making more money than last year. Oh, and by the way, for these morons online, that's not fair. People are getting 25% off for buying tickets. I bought mine 6 months ago and I paid twice as much. Boo fucking who? Who told you to buy them? Gotta need it, must have it, gotta have it, buy it fucking 5 minutes after it goes on sale. Look everybody, and you run on social media. Look everybody, I was the third person of 40,000 that bought tickets, and I fucking spent 200% more than you did. You're the one that decided to buy it instead of waiting. It's like buying a stock. Imagine buying a stock for $50 a share. And then some things happen and the stock goes down to $40 a share. They work out a deal and you're like, wait a minute, I spent $50 a share. I should get $10 back. You get nothing. You get nothing. It's like that scene from Caddyshack? You get nothing and you enjoy it. Oh, man. Too easy. Too easy. All right, who said this? Who sent this? We got another shout out. I think this was the Pat McAfee comment. Who sent this? Peter Grippo, Brooklyn Pete. Still trying to understand why Pat McAfee was added to this. Was it so they had a reason to add that blob Jelly Roll to the match? No, I think they were going to use Jelly Roll no matter what. I think it was pretty obvious. I think doing the stuff with Kip Wilson was just to, get him more over with the fans. Listen, there's a lot of people really bitching about celebrity involvement in WWE. And even though I may not agree with a lot of his political views, I don't think anybody would be bitching right now, other than maybe Trump, if Bad Bunny was on the card. It really comes down to who the celebrity is. It's not necessarily that celebrities are being used. It's how they're being used. Who's being used? When you see this, some of the people that they're bringing out there, it's like, oh, come on, man. What's going to happen? WrestleMania be over with, and they're going to be on their fucking Twitch channel, and they're going to brag about it, and they're going to do this, and, and then they're going to forget WWE exists, and they're going to still think that fucking, I'm not going to say that, but they're going to still think that Tommaso Ciampa works for WWE, or Adam Cole, or somebody like that. Look, this is what WWE is now. If you have a big following, we'll put you on TV for a little while and hope some of the people will tune in just to see you. It's kind of funny when they realize every year, like, wow, this person has 85 billion followers, and we got no boost in fucking viewership. You think that maybe they went on buyafollower.com and maybe like 60% of their followers are what? So hopefully I explained it earlier. It's to get Randy Orton more over as a heel, clear-cut heel, and Cody Rhodes clear-cut babyface. Every time fans start getting into Randy Orton this Saturday, Pat McAfee will do something to change their mind. Every time Randy Orton starts to give a little bit where the fans are getting behind him, that's where Pat McAfee's job comes in. And okay, let me remind him who's the asshole here, and that's what they'll do. I think down the line, Randy Orton will give an RKO to Pat McAfee. Don't know if it'll be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. But in the end, Randy Orton will RKO Pat McAfee out of nowhere, and people will be like, all is good in the world again. All is good in the world again. You got that heart emoji on X. All is good. You see, the payoff was worth it. See, guys, I told you, you got to just wait it out, and it'll be all worth it. No, it won't be worth it. All right. Brooklyn Pete also says that I see Tony Khan on Coach and Row. I saw most of it. I put it over on Wednesday's podcast. I thought it was fine. If you are a supporter of Bro, I got to catch the over and under of Bro. Our over and under was 77. No one made an official count, but I'm going to have to count it. But if you're a fan of Vince Russo, you'll enjoy this. If you're a fan of Coach, you'll enjoy this. If you're a fan of Tony Khan, you will enjoy this. But I will say this. It was pretty obvious that this was not sort of an interview. This was an appearance. And there's a big difference with that. Sure, it was an interview setup, but Coach and Russo wanted to be just as much the conversation as Tony Khan. They wanted to be just as much the news as Tony Khan. And that's a big difference. And the best way I could describe that is with some of you out there think that when there's media scrums, that some journalists will try to be part of the show also. I wouldn't put it on that level. Obviously, what Russo and Coach did was on a much bigger grandstand. But it was good. And I praise the fuck out of them for mentioning the WWE sale. Because what Meltzer did a couple of weeks ago showed that he's not a journalist anymore. He's a PR representative. Telling people in advance that Tony Khan will not answer anything about Tony Storm. Tony Khan will not answer. A PR rep does that, not a journalist. It's a journalist's job to ask questions. Tony Storm, that's a little bit too personal, so I wouldn't bring up that. But to turn around and to give a warning to other journalists out there, don't bring up this. Tony will not answer it. That's not your job to do that. That's not what a journalist does. So praise to them for doing that. That moment about religion, that was not a glitch. I have been photoshopping and editing going back to the early 80s when I fucking did reel to reel and fucking splicing and dicing with cassette tapes and, mixing and editing and doing photoshops and doing audio mixes and video edits. I know what a YouTube glitch is and what an edit is. And what someone did was someone edited the religious comment, the Christian comment. And believe it or not, I've done a lot of thinking about this. I don't think the edit had anything to do with religion. I think the edit was designed because the way it was edited, it sounded like Tony Khan had a lot of similar thoughts as Vince Russo. Had a lot of similar thoughts. Talking about, Vince, I'm like you. And it's I think that edit was to make it seem that Tony Khan and Vince Russo are more in sync than people realize. When you add in the religious comment, then you realize that Tony Khan was saying, Vince, like you, I'm a Christian. So it was like, oh, it's more about Christianity and your religious views and how you were brought up and morals. It's not about similarities. It's about religion and morals. Listen, I'm a Christian like you. I turn the other cheek. So now it's not, let me put it this way. When you bring up Christianity, if you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. If the chicken is a Christian, we all are brought up similar. We all brought up with similar views. So we're all like Tony Khan. So I think the edit was designed to make it seem like Tony Khan and Vince Russo had a lot more in sync. And then once people caught on to it immediately, suddenly, oh, look, we have the untouched version of it. Yeah. I mean, there's a way to restore an edit. I'm not going to fry them for it. It's just, there's never been a glitch like that before. There's never been a glitch like that after. I have been doing this shit online now for 6 years with YouTube. You know what a glitch is. It gets frozen. You have that spinning thing for like 15 seconds. If you get a word or two, that's different. You got a quick little bandwidth thing, that's a word or two, but not fucking 2 full-blown sentences. No, that was an edit. And I truly think that Coach had no idea. I will stick up for him this time around. But I also think it should not overshadow 60, 70 minutes of a friendly discussion. I thought it was fine. If you like any of the three or all three, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Jim Kahn, he doesn't mind if Jelly Roll brings up his struggles to promote his album. But when he brings it up in a wrestling angle, it's self-righteous. I agree. I mean, sometimes you want to be an inspiration to others. Plus, if you know where these shows take place, especially if you're in friendly territory, you get a little bit extra support. Plus, I think reminding everyone about, how you've grown. Listen, you look at AJ Lee. All right. Yeah, AJ Lee is a professional wrestler through and through, is not a country music singer or rapper or whatever else you want to put it. But she's brought up struggles. There's nothing wrong with bringing up struggles. But if you keep depending on that, you keep falling on that, that's where it becomes a problem. You're like, okay, every time, you get into a little bit of an issue, all right, let me bring up my struggles, or let me bring up my disability, or let me bring up this, or let me bring up that. And people be like, yeah, no, I don't want to hear that shit again. I think that has to be kept to a minimum. And I think for the people that don't know the backdrop about Jelly Roll, I think that's something that people would want to know, especially if he's going to be involved in a very high-profile storyline. Plus, it also makes it seem a little bit more sense that he's with Cody Rhodes because of Cody Rhodes and his morals and the way he's brought up and the way Dusty is or was and everything. So I agree with you. I don't want to keep hearing it. All right? Just don't overuse it. And there's people that have overused that in the past. They bring up a struggle. You're like, oh, God, here we go again. Like, when you start having that mindset, then you realize there's a bigger problem with Jelly Roll. Thank you for that. He also says Punk calling Roman plastic when Punk's been owned by a UFC prelim and Punk trashing Roman's family makes him want to root for Roman more. Well, that's a case where you do have two baby faces. What happens by the end of the match is a different story, but this Roman is going to cut a promo on Raw tomorrow that is going to, he's going to get some receipts on CM Punk. I don't know if they'll actually bring up AEW, but it's going to get in the weeds. It's not going to be very one-sided. Punk had a one-sided promo last week because Roman was not there. Roman will be there tomorrow. So Roman will have his fix of what he wants to say about Punk, and it'll balance it out a little bit more. I don't want to see a handshake or a sign of respect or something after the match is over, because the way they have sold this hatred, it goes far too deep just to let it go because a WrestleMania match finished. So I think the plastic remark is very relevant. I also think it applies to Cody Rhodes a hell of a lot more than Roman Reigns. A hell of a lot more than Roman Reigns. And they're obviously not going to go there because of the fact that Cody is such an important part. Cody is the bond between TKO and the WWE Universe that is on the fence right now. You know, Cody comes off, I mean, he's not like the American Dream. He has not had the struggles that Dusty had. It's obvious. But, you know, Cody also, you know, understand he's got a tour bus. And I know I brought this up before, but he's got a tour bus. You look at his fingers closely, it is manicured to the point of obsession. His eyebrows are, you know, just perfectly trimmed to the point where I honestly think the nail and fucking shop, you know, they look at his eyebrows under a microscope. They look, we found lash. Look, we found lash. Not legend, we found eyelash. You cannot see it, but I can. I think they put his fucking eyes under a microscope to find little strands of hair that we can't even see to the naked eye. Everything about him is a little bit too pristine. I honestly think that, you remember when I showed the clip on Monday with Danhausen and I froze the frame to make it seem like he was still? I think down the line, Cody Rhodes will be made into a wax figure in a wax museum. And then you realize, oh, that's not a wax figure. That's actually Cody. It's just the video's on pause right now. I think Cody is a little bit too manicured and, you know, drinking vodka and being a little bit buzzed and saying a couple of curse words and, you know, talking to the fans and reminding us of Dusty and talking about struggles and this and that, kind of like keeps the balance in check with Cody Rhodes. There's going to be a day where the light is going to go off in a lot of people's heads and they're like, oh my God, Cody Rhodes is the worst one of them all. Cody Rhodes is everything about TKO. Even though we're supposed to think that Pat McAfee was brought in by TKO and the ticket sales and everything like that, is Punk coming to the rescue. The fact is, Pat McAfee and Cody Rhodes should be aligned. If this was to make any sense at all, Cody should have turned heel. Pat McAfee should align with Cody Rhodes. And then everything makes sense. Everything about Unreal, everything about TKO, everything about everything Cody does. You know, you beat Cody Rhodes. You know, like I said, you're going to get some moron that's going to drop $10,000 to sit on his fucking tour bus next week. And maybe they'll have a little bit of a deep conversation and the person reveals to Cody, you know, hey, this is my wife. Hey, this is my 2 kids. And then Cody's like, wait, you spent $40,000 to meet me on a bus? Because it's $10,000 per person. There's no 50% off for children. It's $10,000 a pop. And Cody Rhodes will be like, wait a minute. Yeah, I put it on the credit card. You know, we got a mortgage and this and that. Cody's not going to turn around and says, listen, you can't do that. I appreciate it, and I don't want to put your family in struggles before. Oh, Cody's going to put that fucking money in his pocket, and he's going to buy a Wheatley vodka fucking charm to wear. He ain't giving no money back to people. That money's going into his pocket. It'll set his family more comfortable, but Cody Rhodes is TKO. He is everything corporate about WWE. And right now, they're hiding it well. But when Cody does turn heel, Cody will be the ultimate plastic, perfectly manicured wax figure, rich bitch, beautiful. His nails are so manicured that they look pink like a pig's ass. You ever look at Cody's fingers closely, you're like, does he put fucking pink, you know, like paint over it? No, that's just his nails. They have the Asian nail salon massaging his fingers so much. No, this bring blood to finger. They do it for 9 hours. This way, when it's done, hey, look, my middle finger. Jericho, move out of the way. Look, you see my middle finger? We got to wait for Jericho for a minute. The villain. You're a villain, man. We got to wait for the villain. Look at my middle finger. You see how it's pink? Look. You just do this for 9 hours, and it'll just stay that way. Look, my middle finger's pinker. He's just, when he turns heel, that's what it is. He is the ultimate TKO guy, and people don't realize it. But he's good, and he's a businessman, and he earns it. That's the thing. I will not take away, but this Pat McAfee stuff, awful. Awful, awful, awful. Jermaine Reyes, what's up, DT? Do I think WWE will end the brand split after WrestleMania? They still have Raw and SmackDown superstars on both shows post WrestleMania going into SummerSlam. I don't think they'll ever end the roster split, because then you have an issue with titles. And I personally think you have tag team champions in a women's division that allows them to branch over. You could have someone challenge someone, but I personally think having separate brands, you have 2 sets of titles, you have more merch to sell, you have more people that can compete for an individual championship. I don't like the fact of having people on both brands. If it was up to me, there's certain people I would love to have on both brands, but I honestly think keeping it separate just has a little bit more clarity as far as who goes for what. I think the women's tag team division, the fact that they don't have 2 sets of titles, shows you that probably the women's tag team division is the least, that's the least interested part of WWE as far as creative goes. Like if they had on their list the food chain of championships, I honestly think the women's tag team championship is near the bottom, because that allows the champions to be on both brands. And if you had 2 sets of titles, that means Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, when they were champions, wouldn't be able to go on SmackDown. Last Legend and Nia Jax couldn't go on Raw. Kabuki Warriors couldn't go on SmackDown. But having the champions, be able to branch out to go to the other brand is a good thing. You start doing that with other championships, and it just really takes away. I think the fact that they had the World Heavyweight Championship only on Raw, that championship has found its spot. Gunther was a very big part of it. Seth Rollins is a very big part of it. But now I accept the World Heavyweight Championship just as much as the undisputed WWE Championship. I know the lineage is different, but, remember when that title was first created? It's like, they created the title because Roman had everything else. And it was very unbalanced. And when Seth had it, it felt like, he's secondary champion. And just the way things have been, it's kind of evened itself out. So I would just keep it the way it is. Listen, they had the draft. They had the transfer window that suddenly just disappeared. Nobody brings up the transfer window. Remember they had that somebody could appear on the other brand 4 times a year. If they really wanted someone to branch over, they could do it anytime they want. But, having Sammy on SmackDown prevents him getting involved with the bloodline. You know what I mean? So I kind of like the fact that things are separate. Because you could get very tempted to put Pat McAfee on both brands. You could get very fucking tempted to put Cody on both brands. Yes, Cody makes a random appearance here and there. He showed up on MSG. They don't have to overthink it. But no, I don't think they'll end it. No reason to. Plus, you got to remember too, this is probably the most important point of what I'm going to make. You have Netflix and you have USA Network. I guarantee you, USA Network would not be thrilled if the WWE champions, the world champions, were primarily on Raw or being featured on both brands. It kind of waters it down. And I know what you're going to say. Well, that means the World Heavyweight Champion could appear on SmackDown. That is true. But you're not going to have that many people working double duty, and there's no reason to. So having identified titles, one primarily that's on Netflix, one that's primarily on the USA Network. I think that's the right way to go. So if everything goes to Netflix, then it doesn't matter. If everything is on one brand, then it doesn't matter because everything is all under one roof. So, all right. Jimmy Fingers, what's up, Jimmy? Thank you for the 10 spot. Any chance Cody and Randy could just get booed as a whole in the same way Lesnar and Goldberg did at Mania? That's when he would actually give a shit about this match. Holy shit. My fucking audio, it's okay. My mixer ran out of time. It's not even recording right now. But that's okay because YouTube records audio. So I could just cap the audio from, I forgot to empty out my my storage card on my mixer. I just looked over and I see green. I'm like, green is not good. We'll get some match updates for Dynasty in a second. I want to answer Jimmy first. The difference between Brock and Goldberg is there was exits going on. Fans were not feeling Goldberg anymore. Brock Lesnar was on his way out. So the fans were just like, get the fuck out of here. This is not the case with Cody and Randy. I could see the fans getting preoccupied and doing waves. Very reminiscent of Randy Orton and Sheamus. Some of you younger people out there, if you missed the Randy Orton and Sheamus feuds from back in the day, you missed some fun stuff. If we took a shot every time they fought each other on TV, we would be piss drunk. And they had a match once that the fans were so bored with that they were doing the wave. They were chanting Michael Cole at a time that Michael Cole was hated. They were chanting for JBL. I mean, it's a memorable match. And I think it might have even happened like the night after Mania or something like that. No, the fans will be into this match. They will be big time into this match. I don't think they'll boo both, but I also think they'll boo forced. The Pat McAfee stuff will get booed. Absolutely will get booed. And Pat McAfee will go over and above to be an asshole. Just to, you notice on SmackDown when he was giving the middle finger, but it was up here, so you couldn't see it. Like, he was giving everybody the middle finger in the crowd, but on camera, they were doing this. So you couldn't see that he was giving everybody the finger. I don't think it'll be overwhelmingly booed on both sides, but there'll definitely be some good moments, though. There'll definitely be some good moments. It would be interesting. Make no mistake about it. See, the thing is, that's why they probably have to go with Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy and Pat McAfee at Backlash, because now we're at the point where, of course, we don't want Pat McAfee on our television. But TKO, Triple H, WWE, anybody you want to pick, they're not going to turn around and say, you remember let me put it like this. Do you remember the We Want Cody movement that Kev, God rest his soul, and I predicted? We predicted the We Want Cody movement the same night that Cody walked off the SmackDown ring and The Rock stood with Roman Reigns. Do you remember how quickly they changed that match? Remember Rock wearing that dress shirt and the graphic, the fans, I heard the fans and it was obvious that they were not, so we had to go in a different direction. Where is The Rock right now? When The Rock abruptly changed the WrestleMania match because the fans wanted Cody, in 2 days, Rock's like, I heard you and I changed my mind. Where's The Rock right now? Where are you? Do you hear us? Does anybody hear us? Joe Hendry, do you hear us? Like, we're all having a conniption about Pat McAfee and nobody's changing nothing. So this is why they got to do the Backlash match. Because nothing we do right now, unless someone takes it into their own hands, which I don't recommend, that's criminal. But the only thing we can hope for is Pat McAfee gets his ass kicked. It's the only thing. It's the only thing that will give us some form of entertainment. It's like, look, he's on your TV. There ain't nothing you're going to say. There ain't nothing you're going to tweet. They ain't nothing you're going to do that's going to change their minds. So they think, all right, just wait it out. I guarantee you bust it open. That line will come out. Guys, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you could say. So just wait it out, because in the end, Pat McAfee will get his, and, that'll be the consolation. With Travis Scott, we all wanted Travis Scott to get his ass kicked, not just eating a Cody cutter. We wanted him to get his ass kicked. And it wasn't a black or a white thing or a hip hop thing or anything like that. It was just like, why are you on our TV? It's the same thing. But here it's, Pat McAfee ain't leaving. Pat McAfee, Travis Scott is from a different world, the music world, the entertainment world. Pat McAfee is in this circle of sports and entertainment. So it's not like Pat McAfee leaves to go to the music studio. So Pat McAfee will be sticking around, whether we like it or not. So, thank you, Jimmy. He also says, good call in the wax look. Cody looks like he just got out of a funeral prep and already dressed for the box. You know what's kind of funny, man? He says there's nothing more heel than that. You know what's kind of funny? I wouldn't be surprised when they do turn Cody heel. They bring back his grooming tips. Does anybody remember back in the day? It was uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I'm a heterosexual man. And when you're showing the grooming tips and they're showing his body in slow motion from like the floor up and is like perfectly manicured. Remember Cody's grooming tips when he had the black hair still? I was like very uncomfortable. It's like, if that was a woman, I would have been aroused. And I'm looking at Cody and I'm like, I don't need to see this right now. They literally would, you remember them, Cody's grooming tips, dashing Cody Rhodes. So they should bring that back. This is an extension of it. Dashing Cody Rhodes was probably a lot more like Cody Rhodes than we realized. It's just at that time he didn't have the money to do what he does now. Now he could go and there's like 15 people giving him manicures. This one's done. Can you imagine his feet? I don't want to see his feet. Could you imagine him at the beach? Oh my God. I could only imagine what that looks like. Remember early on we used to joke about Brandy's feet? Remember, she had a complex. It actually came back to her. In AEW early on, somehow Brandy's feet became a topic of conversation. And it got back to her. I could only imagine what Cody's looks like. Honestly, I think probably Cody they could do like if there was an advertisement for like women's high heel shoes and all you saw was like a picture of the feet. I honestly think that if you put his feet in a pair of women's shoes and took a picture of it, I guarantee there'd be enough people that would think it was women's feet. I think it's probably so perfectly manicured that you would actually think, is that a woman's foot or is that a man's foot? Plus, if you look at him closely, I don't think he has big feet. I think he's got like a size 10, size 9. Probably Jade Cargill probably has bigger feet than him. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm a huge Jade Cargill fan. So, don't ask me how we got that topic. So, yeah, dashing Cody Rhodes, man. Telling you, he was more dashing than we realized. So, dashing. Do I think we're getting Jay versus Charlotte at SummerSlam for the title? That's from the Villain. Oh, I could see that happening. They have to revisit that again. I feel that passing that, not necessarily passing the torch, but that moment of those two in the ring together, there are some matches that over the years we always wanted to see two people face off. And we thought it would be more iconic, that, it would be an iconic moment. I think Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair is probably the most defining match. Some people would say Bianca Belair as well. But I think Charlotte and Jade, because of the height, because of the similar, just structure of their body, the athleticism, just how muscular they are, and I say that complimentary, I think those two would be the one. And the first time around, it's like, all right, I think it was a little too early, but I could see them revisiting that. I could definitely see them revisit that. And that could be something down the line that they could revisit more than once. I think it'd be pretty interesting in the future. Just imagine Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill as a tag team. I actually think that'd be a lot better than people realize. That would be pretty interesting. But yeah, I could see that happening. Absolutely. I think Charlotte Flair, a lot of people forget something I pointed out about a year and a half ago. Go back and look at Charlotte Flair's stats. I think it was 2024. It was either 2023 or 2024. You go look at her stats, you will be shocked. She lost like 80% of her matches. You will see that she had like 30 title matches and I think lost them all. It's a lot of house shows, don't get me wrong, but you would be shocked on how many matches she lost in that year. And when you look at that, you're like, wow, I never realized that. And then you see how much they brought Charlotte Flair down to earth a little bit. So, all right. We are going to start bringing this home. Thank you very much, the villain, for that. Let's get some updates. Let's get some Dynasty updates. So what do we got? I think we left off before about the Young Bucks. Give me some match results. I'd love to react on some of this stuff. So far, the Jericho match disappoints me. I would have thought Jericho, I would have thought they needed, remember I said Jericho, they need at least one high-profile Canadian to win. I felt that FTR was going to retain simply because Edge and Christian aren't wrestling on TV enough to become champions. Garth says that FTR did retain the titles. Yeah, that's pretty much. Darby Allin won. That was another match that we called as well. I will be watching Rebellion tomorrow. I'll be watching AAA tomorrow. I did see the brawl between Kaiser and Gable. And they now made the match official for Mask versus Mask at AAA. I was shocked when I saw a lot of news sites saying another WrestleMania match is off. And I was like, ooh, what match did they cancel? And then they're all today, they're like, oh, Grande Americano was that. I'm like, what? We brought that up like 3 weeks ago. I saw all these websites today like WrestleMania 42, another match pulled. And I'm like, oh, I wonder which one it was. I thought for a minute Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vicaire, but I heard Liv is fine. And then I see it's El Grande Americano. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. We already knew that match was off. So, yeah, I did see La Catalina. She left CMLL and showed up in AAA. She can work, man. She could work. She definitely is going to fit in very, very well there. FTR retained over Cage and Cope. Pretty much expected that. Darby Allin won as well. We have the Casino Gauntlet going on right now. You want to know something? I think one of the first ever thumbnails we ever played on a video show was Brandy's feet. That might even been the first ever super chat that I ever had to do with Brandy's feet. I probably still have the photo somewhere. So I think she's got cute feet. I mean, I haven't looked at her feet for 5 years. I mean, I don't even know how that was brought up. I don't even remember like her talking about her feet. I don't even remember how it happened. So what other match results we got? Is that it? We had no other match results other than the ones we said? So far we got every single one except for Jericho. Kevin Milwaukee says that Danhausen is the face of WWE. Danhausen is what they want in R-Truth, but can't get in 2026 because merch is just not there. R-Truth has no face paint. R-Truth has been there for 20 years. They've done so much. He is that one guy that doesn't have to wrestle much, make some appearances, sell an insane fucking amount of merchandise. Now they're starting to do the masks and the face paint for the kids, which we all knew was going to happen. He is big time merch. Big time merch. And he's, from what everybody says, a really good guy. Like, this is someone, there's no skeletons that are going to come out. There's no skeletons. It's funny. My wife had a wisdom tooth pulled out Friday, and they let her take it home. I looked at this thing. To me, it looked like a giant roach. I was going to put a picture of it online. I'm like, Danhausen, you want the tooth? But I was like, I'm in my 50s. Someone would be like, grow up. So I didn't, but ugly. I never had my wisdom teeth taken out, so I don't know what that feels like. R-Truth has passed the torch down to Danhausen. I think in some ways. I wouldn't say the torch. I would say that R-Truth has given Danhausen his blessing. But Danhausen, you could see this is not someone that was brought in to have matches for the most part. All he's got to do is what he's been doing. Yeah, I would bet you that his contract might be more heavy on the merchandise sales than the actual contract itself. It might be like, listen, we're not going to pay you as much as somebody that works in the ring every week, but we'll give you a higher percentage on the merch sales. And I that's fine with me. Where do I sign? I think, honestly, he doesn't live in excess as far as I know. I'm fine with the signing. As long as they don't put a major title on him right now, I'm fine with the signing. So, all right. We have another super shout that came in. This has to do with Jay Cargill. Who's this from? Oh, let's take Dynasty off the screen. We have no more updates right now. The gauntlet match is still going on. Bobby Mean says he thinks we'll get Jade and Bianca at Backlash. Bianca wins the title there. Pat McAfee needs to get his ass kicked. He's ruined the Cody and Randy feud. Bianca is still too far away. I'm not saying this to be a jerk. I'm saying this to be realistic. The surgery that Bianca has had and the complications with her finger, this is going to take a lot longer than people realize. I know some tertiary news sites are like, Bianca's progressing just fine, is doing light exercises. Bianca Belair was doing light exercises when her finger was fucking, it's almost like Shawn Michaels' eyes. Her hand was this way and her finger was pointing like at 2 o'clock. She never had to stop doing other exercises. She's doing exercises with the finger, but it is a nerve and a muscle problem. This is not a case like, I keep doing this and let me put a little weight on there and, I'm building up strength and I can return to the ring. There's a lot more involved. I don't think there's any chance whatsoever that she's back by Backlash. This is something that's going to take longer. And I'm not wishing anything negative, but this, I honestly think, was career threatening. I know they don't want that portrayed to fans out there, but when you actually learn a little bit more about what happened to her finger, especially her type of style in the ring, that was very, very serious. And she still has a ways to go. So I think Backlash is a little bit too soon. Summertime, SummerSlam, never know. But one thing is for certain, she's not going to return to the ring until she's 100%. And the surgery was only, a month and a half ago? I mean, it's not just the exercises, but it's, they're doing the exercise so it doesn't lock up. That's the thing, too. It's not just rehabbing now. It's just to keep the repetitive motion going, keep the repetitions going so it doesn't lock up again. And, there's just, it's a mess. And I wish her a full recovery. But Backlash, way too soon. Way too soon. El Clan has arrived. And not in our chat, but thank you very much for that. So we're going to wrap this up, I'd say in about 5 minutes or so. Don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be right back here on YouTube. Recap Raw. If I talk to Joey and Joey is a no-go for WrestleMania predictions, I don't know if I want to do WrestleMania predictions tomorrow night. That's kind of abrupt I think Wednesday might be a better day for that. So, no, we'll definitely will not be doing WrestleMania predictions tomorrow. But any changes, obviously. We'll see if they do solidify Io Sky and Asuka. Because I honestly think that could be solidified on Monday. So, you put Asuka on SmackDown, Io Sky on SmackDown, you're doing that for a reason. You're doing that to remind people that she's still around and good for WrestleMania. So, 316 MMA is asking, do I think Liv and Steph should be in a main event instead of Cody and Randy? Oh, no. Absolutely not. Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan is going to be tremendous, but you're talking a World Heavyweight Championship, the cornerstone, biggest moneymaker of that company, controversy, storylines shifting over to Unreal, the TKO aspect of it. You're talking about the storyline involving billions of dollars and, millions in ticket sales. And this is something, listen, WrestleMania goes away. The outrageous prices do not. And we just found out you're paying $13,000 in Italy to sit front row, drink some wine, meet a couple of WWE superstars, and make pasta with, we thought it was Liv Morgan. It is not. They have announced in Italy, you may not know this yet, Maxine Dupree is the one who's going to be making the pasta. Just because WrestleMania comes and goes doesn't mean ticket prices suddenly will reel itself in. There's still, as long as people keep paying, they will keep charging. Understand that a majority of the people online complaining, including yours truly, JD, Jason, Dutch Mantel, Coach, Bro, Fightful, PW Insider, Wade Keller, Dave, every single person complaining, none of us are paying for those tickets. As long as people are paying record money, they will keep putting them on sale. They're not going to lower the prices because we complain. Stockholders will say, fuck you, I'm going to invest my money in a different company. So even though some of the prices are going down, they do that. That's normal business. I know people don't want to hear that. Oh, see, they're caving in. No, they're not caving in. This is what they do. We bring it up almost every year they do this. Then what I do? But meanwhile, they're dropping 10 grand to go on a bus for a half hour. They're dropping 13 grand to fucking have pasta with Maxine Dupree. They're dropping fucking $3,000 to sit in a fucking pub in Madison Square Garden to shake hands with Danhausen and Liv Morgan and a few others. People are still paying this kind of money. So, all right, let's reduce the ticket price a little bit, but we'll add 1,000 here. We'll make the merch. We'll have the shirts go up to $35 instead of $32. So do not think that suddenly TKO is heard and they're listening. They're hearing you and they're hearing me and they're saying, you ain't the people that are paying these prices. So as long as they keep paying it, they'll keep charging it. They may not be able to sell 50,000 tickets, but if they sell 40,000, remember what I showed you before, they sell 40,000 and they jack up the price, they still made more money. At the end of the day, they're still going to tout 150,000 people coming to WrestleMania for that weekend. They're going to tout that WrestleMania 42 broke WrestleMania 41's records. And at the end of the day, the stock is going to respond well. And all of us that are complaining will keep complaining. That's it. I hate to say it, but that's just the facts. I would never spend that kind of money. Seriously. Even if I got to choose, you could choose who's going to wrestle who. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather pay bills. I'd rather fucking spend it on my family. I ain't fucking dropping that kind of money. But it's a memory. Yeah, that's fine. With my luck, I'll get Alzheimer's. I'll get Alzheimer's the next day. Be like, what did I spend my money on? Just no thank you. No thank you. Never spend that kind of money. Even back in the day. Put it this way, the closest I ever came to spending money like that, I was going to go to a fantasy baseball camp for the Mets. Back in the late 80s, me and a couple of my friends were seriously thinking about going to, I think it was Port St. Lucie, Florida, and we were going to spend, I think it was $4,000 to spend whatever it was, a week in Florida and, play baseball with some Mets legends and, get a custom jersey and all that. We were very close of doing it. And at the last minute, I backed out because I was like, I'm not spending that kind of money. So that was the closest I ever got to spending that kind of coin. So, all right, we're going to take 3 more. Roderick is asking, do I know of any ongoing beef between Punk and Rock? It's nowhere near what it used to be. It's corporate storyline, but, Punk knows where his bread is being buttered. And, Rock is on the board of directors. There's actually some photos very recently of Rock and Punk in the back. There's not this extreme hatred. Very recently, Shawn Michaels revealed that there wasn't anywhere near the tension that people always thought there was with him and Triple H and The Rock from back in the day. I think it's just overblown. I think in some people's eyes, it's also something that people want to see. And listen, that's a moneymaker. So many people think that there's so much tension between The Rock and CM Punk. You could turn it into storyline and people will believe it. So, there's some Logan Paul hate going on in the chat right now. I'm still mad that the Usos dropped the tag titles before Mania just so they could have a 6-man tag with IShow Speed. That kind of annoys me, so. All right, who's got the last question for tonight? Who's got the last one? Who's got the last one? Listen, I say this repeatedly just to remind everyone, this is a well-oiled machine, WWE and TKO. Doesn't mean that everybody's thrilled about it, but the idea that they're not giving away comps to wrestlers like they used to, I mean, that's common sense. It's like baseball. Like they'll give comps to the families of a lot of baseball players during the season. But when it comes to the World Series, we'll let your wife come. We'll let your kids come, but we're not giving you a block of 8 so your cousin could come or your neighbor or your milkman. It's supply and demand. They're not going to turn around. And plus, when you realize there's 100 wrestlers, what are you going to do? If you give 2 tickets out to one, you got to give it to everybody. And you start adding it up and you're like, okay, I totally understand why. And listen, the money that a lot of these wrestlers can make, you could spend $400. So your aunt or your brother could sit in section 200. No. My brother must sit in the front row. Well, prima donna, well, then you're going to have to pay for it. It's like Pat McAfee with the Knicks. Remember the controversy at that time? I'm not paying $20,000 to sit front row with the Knicks. Who the fuck told you to sit front row? Sit in the fucking boondocks like normal people. No, I must be seen. I'm in prima donna. No. There's tickets to be available. It's more of like I'm offended. I bust my ass for TKO. I'm not impersonating anybody. There's tickets right now. They could buy their family a whole row of tickets, section 300, $300 a piece. They're not doing it. So, thank you, Bloody Money. Wednesday on Dynamite, Willow defends the TBS title against Camille. I don't know if I want to see the title change that quickly. Kind of happened with Ciampa, and I wasn't thrilled about it. But I'm glad that Camille is back. Very glad. So, all right. I think we are done. El Clan. I know we talked about him before. El Clan. Benjamin is, we'll finish with this. Benjamin is saying, why do I harp on Cody Rhodes drinking Wheatley vodka that costs $20 a bottle? It's not about the type of alcohol. It's just the perception of how Cody presents himself. All right. Everything is perfect. Everything is an advertisement. You know what I mean? It's not necessary. Put it this way. You don't have to be a prima donna. Everything you have is like, oh, look at this. I'm drinking from an $800 Yeti bottle and my water is from Pakistan Springs. Not everything that you do has to be expensive. It's the portrayal of it. It's, put it this way. When I used to go out with my friends way back when, we would see some people who tried to impress with the way they would drink. And when I drink, see, I don't have a glass here. Oh, wait, I do. All right, this is a mug. We'll use a mug. But when I drink, I go like this. I drink like this. Some people have to do this. They lift their pinky. You ever see someone go like this? They have to drink with their pinky in the air. There's the way some people present themselves, the way they eat, the way they drink, the way they this. Cody is very, very professional, corporate, dresses nice suits, but it's just the presentation that, I can't have a bottled water. I have to have Wheatley. And it has to have ice. And, I drink so much that I'm intoxicated. I can't even put out interviews. There's just a lot about Cody. It's the overall package. And again, I'm not crapping on the guy. All I'm saying is that Cody is a corporate guy. He is probably the most plastic of them all. Doesn't mean he doesn't care. Doesn't mean he doesn't work hard. Doesn't mean that he puts out the best performance. The guy does everything at the top of his game. All I'm saying is when he turns heel, it's going to be so easy to do. So, all right. Kevin Knight won the TNT title. So, we're going to jet. I am out of here. So, tomorrow, right after Raw, you could join me right here on YouTube for your Raw post show. We'll get into also any news. We'll give some quick results for Dynasty. I will watch some of the weekend shows. We'll comment about that as well. I will definitely let everybody know tomorrow what's going to go on as far as WrestleMania predictions. I think Monday would be the perfect day to do them. Friday is too late. You got to do it a few days before. Of course, Friday something could be added or something could be changed, but I think Wednesday is a perfect day to do it. And I'll let everybody know by tomorrow if I got in touch with Joey to do predictions. If not, it'll be yours truly. But again, definitely check out the archive if you want. Put over 1,000 episodes up over the last week or so. That was not easy. And there's still another 200 that I have to proofread and make sure that all the links are in sync. And then over the next month or two, we have another 1,000 or so that have to come up. So we'll be continuing to work on that. There's still a lot of episodes that are lost that I have to re-up. But right now, it's just about getting a lot of it back online. So much love to all of you out there. Thank you very much. Enjoy the remainder of Dynasty. It's still on the air. Just remember, guys, it's Sunday night. So if you have to go to school tomorrow, you have to get up early for work. Keep that in mind because Dynasty may not be going off the air until midnight or maybe even 1 a.m. So be well, and I hope you could join me tomorrow night right after Raw. I'm saying around 10:40 p.m. Eastern. That's usually about the start time. So 10:40 Eastern should be when we go. So be well, everybody. Much love. I'll catch you on the next one.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.